Day 218, Isaiah chapter 28 through 30. Futile confidence in Egypt. Chapter 28. Woe to Ephraim and Jerusalem, a cornerstone in Zion. 28. Woe to Jerusalem, the blindness of disobedience. 30. Futile confidence in Egypt, a rebellious people. God will be gracious. Like a lightning crackling in the distance, Isaiah's prophecies begin to focus on the ominous approach of the Assyrian armies. Ephraim, northern kingdom, reels like a drunkard, oblivious to the danger and falsely confident in the armies of Egypt to deliver her in time of trouble. But there shall be no such deliverance. Ariel, Jerusalem, symbol of the southern kingdom, stands next in line for judgment if her citizens follow Ephraim's sorry example by relying upon Egypt for protection. Day 219, Isaiah chapter 31 through 35. The land of the majestic king. Chapter 31. The folly of not trusting God. God will deliver Jerusalem. 32. A reign of righteousness. Consequences of complacency. Chapter 33. A prayer in deep distress. Impending judgment on Zion. The land of majestic king. 34. Judgment on the nations. 35. The future glory of Zion. As Isaiah continues to study the prophetic horizon, he sees more than coming calamity. True, the prospects are not present for the rebellious people of God, but there is also a coming king who will bring peace like a river, freedom for the captives, justice for those suffering oppression, and judgment upon heaven and earth. In the light of his sure coming, the people of God are urged to watch and wait patiently, expectantly, and purposefully. Their redemption is at hand. Day 220, Isaiah 36 through 39. Hezekiah's prayers. 36. Sennacherib boast against the Lord. 37. Isaiah assured deliverance. Sennacherib's threat and Hezekiah's prayer. The word of the Lord concerning Sennacherib. 38. Hezekiah's life extended. 39. The Babylonian invoice. Isaiah the prophet becomes Isaiah the historian during chapter 36 through 39. Two major historical events dominate the narrative: the attempted invasion of Judah by the Assyrian army in 701 BC and the critical illness that threatened King Hezekiah's life. The taunts of the Assyrian invaders are turned into cries of anguish and retreat as 185,000 die at the hand of the angel of the Lord as a direct answer to Hezekiah's specific prayer. God answers another Hezekiah's prayers by extending his life 15 years. But by using those extra years for selfish pursuit rather than for God's purposes, Hezekiah seals the fate of his nation. The stage is set for Babylon to conquer and carry off the people of Judah, bringing down the curtain on God's judgment. Day 221, Isaiah chapter 40 through 43. Comfort my people. 40. God's people are comforted. 41. Israel assured of God's help. The futility of idols. 42. The servant of the Lord. Praise to the Lord. Promise of the Lord's help. Israel's obstinate disobedience. 43. The Redeemer of Israel. The book of Isaiah has been likened to a miniature Bible. It is 66 chapters paralleling the 66 books of the Old and New Testament. The first 39 chapters of Isaiah, like the 39 books of the Old Testament, proclaim judgment upon simple mankind. God's patience is great, but He will not allow persistent sin to go unpunished. Beginning with today's section, the final 27 chapters of Isaiah, like the 27 books of the New Testament, proclaim a message of comfort and hope. The Messiah is coming to be the Savior of simple people. Therefore, comfort, comfort my people, says your God. Day 222, Isaiah 44 through 48. I am God, and there is none else. Chapter 44, God's blessing on Israel. There is no other God. Idolatry is foolishness. Israel is not forgotten. Judah will be restored. 45. Cyrus, God's instrument. The Lord, the only Savior. 46. Dead idols and the living God. 47. The humiliation of Babylon. 48. Israel refined for God's glory. In an amazing collection of specific prophecies, Isaiah foretells the agent of comfort God will use in delivering his people, Cyrus, king of Persia, and the means of comfort God will employ, destruction of idolatrous Babylon. Isaiah taunts those who would put their trust in mere images of stone or wood. From the same piece of wood, a workman fashions gods to be worshipped and logs to be burned. From chapter 44. By contrast, the God of Israel writes history in advance, predicting kings by name, centuries before their birth. Is it any wonder God declares, I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me. Is it any wonder God calls forth judgment upon Babylon or upon anyone who would dare to substitute trees and rocks for the omnipotent Lord of hosts, the Holy One of Israel? Day 223, Isaiah 49 through 51. The servant, Israel's hope. 49. The servant, the light to the Gentiles. 50. The servant, Israel's hope. 51. The Lord comfort Zion. For the people of God, the path of restoration is the path of servanthood and suffering. There is coming one who will pardon iniquity and will restore righteousness to Zion. In contrast to the rebellion of Israel, this servant will come willingly and humbly to offer himself as a sacrifice for many. Therefore, the faithful ones are called upon to listen to God's voice, for righteousness is near.